The dark side of Demi Lovato's rise to fame. Demi Lovato is one of the biggest names in pop music today, with a 2-decade acting and singing career. Demi, who is only 30 years old, spent the majority of their childhood and adolescence in the spotlight. Their life had been dominated by their personal struggles, which include drug and alcohol abuse, eating disorders, and family strife. Demi recently released Demi Lovato, Dancing with the Devil, a 4-part YouTube miniseries in which they were candid about their various struggles, including a near-fatal overdose in 2018. While Demi now appears to be in a very balanced emotional and mental state, they are committing to raising mental health awareness and have opened up about some of the difficulties they faced growing up in the spotlight. Their voice is powerful, and it inspires young women who believe they must meet certain standards of beauty, fame, and success in order to be accepted. While Demi is far from the first pop star to raise the issue of the negative aspects of childhood celebrity, they are using their platform to help raise awareness and prevent other young people from going through similar difficulties. Demi made their acting debut at the age of 10 in 2002, when they were cast as Angela on the popular children's show Barney and Friends. They went on to have several roles on the Disney Channel before being scrutinized by the media. According to Wikipedia, Lovato's acting abilities were underwhelming to Entertainment Weekly correspondent Gillian Flynn. When they released their debut studio album, Don't Forget, Michael Slazak of Entertainment Weekly publicly criticized them, saying Demi Lovato might satisfy her tween fans, but they won't be winning any rockers over with Don't Forget. Dealing with constant criticism at such a young age had a long-term consequence for Demi. Demi was dealing with some very difficult traumas while they were struggling to find their footing in the entertainment industry. According to the Huffington Post, they were raped as teenagers by someone they trusted, an event that cast a long shadow over their lives. Demi opened up about the traumatic event in their docuseries, explaining that it robbed them of confidence and caused them to binge and purge so frequently that they vomited blood. Demi began abusing drugs and alcohol at a very young age, and their eating disorder was just one of the unhealthy ways they tried to cope with a very traumatic experience. Despite having been in rehab and sober for 6 years, they had a very serious and near-fatal overdose in 2018, prompting them to seek additional help and treatment. Furthermore, during an August 2022 appearance on the Call Her Daddy podcast, Lovato revealed that as a teenage Disney star, they were on such an intense schedule that they would end up calling their mother crying out of exhaustion. Lovato told the podcast host Alex Cooper, "What people don't know is that the amount of work we had to do." Lovato then added, "Every year I filmed a season of a TV show. I went on tour, I made an album, and I shot a movie, and I did all that for like 3 years. Then they said, if I had a hiatus from my show, then I would have the tour bus pull up to the studio and take me on tour for 1 week, or I would fly to London to do a promo." Lovato then explained that the difficult workload provoked them to explore drugs, saying there was this extreme workload that I think put a lot of pressure on us. And that's why some of us I personally turn to, if you're going to work me like an adult, I'm going to party like an adult. That at 16 wasn't healthy at all. Soon, Lovato became the primary breadwinner in the family, which led to even more pressure and denied them the chance to simply be a teenager without any adult responsibilities. She said, "At a certain point, I was paying for the roof over my whole family's head, and my dad had quit his job to become my manager, so his income was coming from me. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and there was just that pressure of, I'm paying for everything, and like I need to keep going because if things start to disappear, so do the finances." Demi was also rushed to the hospital in the summer of 2018 after being discovered unresponsive after ingesting opioids in her Los Angeles home. Demi explained that their previous management team's constant monitoring had resulted in a bulimic relapse earlier in the year. Demi entered a very dark period in their life as a result of the focus on what they were and were not allowed to eat, which eventually resulted in them breaking their sobriety and overdosing on oxycodone laced with fentanyl. Demi discusses the overdose in the docuseries, explaining that they were also victims of the drug dealer who supplied the opioids. Demi has certainly been through a lot in life, but they're focused on their mental health and their ability to share their story with others. Speaking out about their deepest struggles has allowed them to authentically claim their voice, while also healing some of their previous false core beliefs about their worth and value to the world. Demi's motivation for making this documentary was to clear the air about who was involved in the near-fatal overdose, who victimized them, and who they considered true and loyal friends. Demi is not entirely sober in the aftermath of their overdose, despite having a near-fatal overdose and a history of addiction problems. In their documentary, they explain that they are California sober, a term for people who avoid hard drugs but occasionally drink alcohol and smoke marijuana.